Welcome to the show. My name's Lewis Mason. I'm joined by Gerry, Taggart and Matt Elliott. So the discussion today is around a subject which has cropped up again, and that is of the winter break, or should we say the lack of a winter break in England. Anyone got any opening thoughts on this one?
I think there should be one. I think if England want to progress to the latter stages of a World Cup or a European Championships, then I think a winter break would help them on their way to doing that. You know, most other countries in European football, you know, have a winter break. Some of Europe, we've just been going through the teams that are in the other European leagues, and some of them have, you know, 20 teams like they do in the English Premier League, even though I thought, you know, they all had a bit less. But I was put in my place swiftly. Thank you for that, chaps. But yeah, I think, you know, the big help would be for England at a major competition for me.
And France, you were saying 20 teams in Spain, 20 teams. Bundesliga, though, 18 teams. And it is this kind of German mentality that really has kind of led the way with this winter break. Just over 3 weeks of a break they're having at this period.
Yeah, I mean, my only question is, if you have the break, when do they squeeze the games in?
Yeah.
So then, let's say, you know, the final stages of the season, it's going to be, I mean, it's pretty crammed as it is, isn't it? So then they've got to be put in somewhere. I mean, I think we looked at Spain, Italy and one other. Anyway, Spain and Italy are both 20 teams, aren't they?
France,
sorry. Yeah. So Germany 18, but then you look at it, however Germany structure it, I think seems to work for them, doesn't it? Because they do look strong.
Obviously, in England, you have two cup competitions. I think the rest of Europe will mainly have one.
Yeah, but I mean, you could counter that, Tags, with the fact that they make wholesale changes. You know, even in the latter stages of the Carabao Cup, as we've seen, the majority of the big teams.
Well, you must be able to. You might have to extend the league by an extra week or an extra 10 days or something.
Well, interestingly, in Germany, being a World Cup year, it's actually going to be shortened. So they're finishing earlier than they normally would.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But they've got that 4-game difference, haven't they? They can manage it a little bit better, I suppose. But the other teams, I mean, I don't know, looking for excuses is the wrong thing. Maybe it does. I'd like to see scientific proof of, if they can do it, how it does affect them down the line. Because, I mean,
you can't say you wouldn't benefit it as an individual.
Even
as an individual, even if you weren't going to a World Cup, but just
having a break and then increasing your workload over a shorter space of time.
Well, you wouldn't have to increase that much, would you? You'd have to do like a mini pre-season, I would say, but you wouldn't have to...
I mean, in terms of games, I'm just saying. You've still got to play that same amount of games, haven't you? So say you had 2 weeks off. So that's, you know...
But I mean, as far as giving your body a rest, as far as giving your body the time to recover to a certain degree and then getting ready for the next...
Yeah, well, exactly. Scientifically, you might be better off having 2 weeks off and then overloading for a shorter time. I don't know. But I mean, England do look jaded in the finals, don't they? Whether it's European Championship or World Cup. But again, is that the overload of pressure that everyone says that English players fail to deal with? Because, you know, a lot of teams go through similar circumstances, don't they? And these days, not majority, a large percentage of the players that play in the Championship are playing in England anyway. And I don't know, I'd like to see what the stats are on that. I think people make a bigger thing of it than it is.
Yeah, well, taking the German model again, Liverpool's Emre Can spoke out recently about it. Of course, he's in a position where, yes, they're his teammates, a lot of the lads playing in the Bundesliga, but actually they're his competitors to get that place at the World Cup to start with. Yeah. So it's an interesting one. And in terms of Leicester, let's look at it this way.
I'm not worried about Emre Can.
You might be on the 30th of December.
Yeah, sure.
4 games in 213 hours for Leicester, which is the tightest amount for any team in the Premier League. Arsenal have 76 hours more. Claude Puel was actually talking about this just last week, and here's what he had to say about the schedule.
The schedule is like this, and it's important to adapt about this and to give a good response all the time. Of course, we need to have some change, some rotation, and to keep always a good quality on the team, on the pitch. Is a difficulty. For example, Manchester City have the habit to make a rotation, some changes every game with all the games since the beginning of the season.
There we go, Claude Puel talking about that really busy period we're going into. For you as players, how did you find this time of year?
We always used to get 5 bookings or sent off a couple of weeks before Christmas, so it didn't really apply to us. We used to engineer it, so we got a little break over there. But no, actually, it did work out that way sometimes, didn't it? But
sometimes.
Not on purpose. How did you find it over the Christmas period? It was tough. It is tough when you play, say, Boxing Day 28th or 30th and 1st, that 2-day period. That's too short.
The quality of football goes right out the window, by the way. You may be able to get through the games fitness-wise, but you're tuner and basically trying to get through the games. And the quality I always find was you're walking off the pitch saying, wow, what a bad game of football.
Yeah, it was hard work. I mean, even we were okay, the centre-halves. I mean, we're not absolutely flat out for 90 minutes. You can get through it, which is, Harry Maguire was outstanding the other night for me. It's easier for a centre-half to play game after game after game, whereas Morgan's done it for the last however long seasons. But yeah, I felt sorry for the midfield lads in particular. But yeah, that 2-day period, I don't see the sense in that. Leicester could have been structured a different way. They could have played on the 2nd, or even the 29th to the 1st.
You're actually saying that Arsenal have got the equivalent of 3 whole days.
Yeah. 76 hours, yeah.
It's like 3 whole days more.
Yeah.
And that's all recovery time, by the way. The majority of that will be recovery time for Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? There won't be a lot of training going on, and there won't be, I would say, barely any intense training going on.
No, not
and so, and I know what Claude's saying, he has to adapt, but he must be scratching his head going, this can't be right, this isn't fair. When one of your competitors has got 3 whole days more to recover and prepare for the same amount.
And also with the fixtures as they are, they're all scattered around. So you're going to be playing some teams that have had that extra day's rest. And when you've only had 2 days rest, 1 day is a lot of difference.
It is.
It's not like the difference between 7 and 8 days. And it's, that's a massive factor as well. And that can go against you. And they say everyone's got to play everyone at some stage. But sometimes it does make a difference who you're playing, when you're playing, in the long run as well.
When the games come quick and fast and you've got like the 4 games in that short space of time, recovery period is paramount.
Yeah,
And so that 24 hours recovery period extra, we've seen it on Saturday to a certain degree. I said against Crystal Palace, they had the extra 24 hours recovery time. I think that actually played a part. Now, I said it was different if one team played on a Saturday, one team played on a Sunday, and then they didn't play till the following Saturday against each other. That's different because you've got 5-6 days you fully recover. But when it's coming quick and fast and sharp, that extra 24 hours or even 23 hours, whatever it is, makes a massive amount of difference to, a multitude of individuals. You may get 1 or 2 who you're just, freaks of nature and recover, and within 12, 24 hours and they're back to 100% fitness. But for the majority of players, they need as much recovery time as possible.
On the flip side to that, of course, that's from a playing point of view. It's a time of year where the stadiums are going to be full, and it is a time where fans absolutely love going to the football. It might be, a little one gets their first ticket for a game, and Boxing Day is that game.
Yeah, that's true. The festive period, everyone likes to get out and about, get out of the house, don't they? Get a bit of air in their lungs and go and watch the games. But you want to see games with good stand as well, don't you? As best a standard as possible. I think the big problem for me is, going back to the managerial situation for Claude Puel, is he's obviously looking to rotate and try and analyse things anyway and look at the best way forward. But how he incorporates that with the players he's got at his disposal, because I think it's fair enough to say that Leicester have got certain key players that you want playing every game, don't you? And the squad, while it's strong deep in numbers, I think the quality that he's looking for is not necessarily there. And without the main protagonists, i.e. Vardy, Mahrez and Damari Gray, you do wonder where the goals and the creativity is going to come from, and especially the goals.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with taking away the Boxing Day fixture. Do you understand? Because of the tradition around it, I would actually carry on playing the Boxing Day fixture and then have the break.
Yeah, you can get around the Boxing Day, can't you?
Yeah, because like you say, I suppose it's...
Well, what they do, they compound it, Tag. Sorry, rather than a break, they actually compounded by putting more fixtures in.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
does seem counterproductive, really. To
I
me.
suppose it is the fixture for the fans.
Absolutely.
The Boxing Day fixture, where, you know, and I hope I've got it right, but from my experience, it is where, like you say, you get little Johnny's got a Christmas ticket, you know, to go and watch his first game. And so it is a traditional period, a traditional game set around the fans. And that's why I don't believe you should get away with that Boxing Day fixture. It's after that, I think, you could stretch it out a little bit more into January.